This week we are going to be talking about how to go about this seminal retention or no fat process. Let's get it. I'm done. Hey, it's Free and welcome to this video blog episode of the Soul Growth, the Sexucation series. This week's topic, we're going to discuss a little bit more about the vitality of semen. So, we are conditioned to focus on the destination when it comes to sex. Everything that we have seen and done has just been deeply ingrained into us to believe that sex is about getting this man to his climax. And if the woman gets hers in between, great. But and obviously it has to end once he ejaculates. But if you are going in the direction of what it is that I'm speaking of, which is seminal retention, now that you understand how vital semen is and how much energy and power is in semen, and on top of that, the benefits of seminal retention, now that you understand that, now you can step into how to actually maintain that energy, but still ensure that you get an orgasm. So we're going to call that a NEO, non-ejaculatory orgasm. Sex, when done properly, can and will be energizing for both parties. But when you understand that when a man ejaculates, he loses a lot of his energy, you don't tend to see that. Men often go to sleep after sex, so they feel drained. That's because they're releasing all of that energy. So the purpose of this series is to talk about ensuring that no man loses that energy. And ideally, as we continue and carry on, I'll talk about how you can actually begin to truly circulate that energy between the man and the woman and make it a circular thing. So as you give her energy, as the man gives her energy, because his energy comes down and out, her energy comes up and out through her mouth. And so there's a circuit that's there that just continuously builds up your energy. But a lot of people don't know this, and that's something I want to talk about at a later topic. Okay, so when it comes to trying to step into seminal retention, communication is everything, and I mean everything. This isn't something that you can just do without discussing it with your significant other. And ideally, you guys kind of want to be on the same page, or at least get her to the point to where she can understand, or you ideally want to be with someone that will respect the fact that you want to do this and why you want to do this. Letting them know where you are, what you're trying to do, why you're trying to do it is very imperative. The best sexual lover is one that is fully relaxed and aware of what is going on in his body. In order to know what's going on in your body, you have to learn it. You have to take the time to learn your body. Learn your limits. And ideally, if you can learn your limits while you're alone, you can kind of learn what different sensations are involved. It's much more complex when you're trying to learn it with another person, because they have to be on the same page and they have to understand, hey, when I say stop, you have to stop. Do not move, and all of these other things that come into play. So learning how to do it on your own, learning how, okay, well, I feel this tingle, or I feel this pressure, or I feel this pulsation, I feel this lets me know that I am getting to that point. You know it to an extent, but there are deeper levels. There may be additional feelings and sensations that you feel as you are getting closer to that point. Now, I'm pretty sure one of the first questions that may come to your mind about seminal retention is this idea of blue balls. And blue balls, I don't really know how to explain that, but basically, blue balls is a kind of like the energy, that sexual energy is trapped inside. But if you're actually having sex, it doesn't really quite work the same. And that energy is actually going to recirculate once you learn how to do the processes that I'm going to talk about. That energy doesn't get stuck. It's not like your testicles will be overflowing with seminal fluid. Like, there's a way to actually recirculate that energy and help it raise up to your pineal gland to take you to higher places. There are ways to do that, and there are so many books. Actually, no, there are not so many books. That there are some really good books that I'm going to put down in the description below that are very helpful in understanding how to go about this process. So, in order to have a NEO, you have to work on things like Kegel exercises and strengthening the PC floor. there is something called a perineum. So I really want to talk about that, but I think I'm going to hit on that on the next video because I'm already so deep into this video and my time is already running out. The perineum is this point between your scrotum and your anus. And this is a very, very high energy point that they understand in acupuncture, they understand in Ayurveda, they understand. It's a very, very powerful point, and it's known, and it's actually a very sensual point that most people don't even entertain. They don't even mess with it, but it's like a sweet spot. And so one of the books I read called The Taoist Sexuality, Chang talks about, he calls it $1 million point. And so he discusses how if you hit that point at the right time in the right way, and I'm going to talk about how to go about it. I'm going to give you steps and tips in the next video. You hit that point, it actually recirculates that energy. It instead of releasing it, it goes back into you. So you get all of that vital essence. You get all of that power and you don't release it, and you get those wonderful benefits that I spoke of before. A little bit about the microcosmic orbit. So there is every person has their own circular energy, and there's a book called what is it called? It's by Mantak, Chia. It's called The Taoist Secrets of Cultivating Male Sexual Energy, and he kind of hits on he's kind of like the subject matter expert when it comes to this microcosmic orbit. But he talks about how from the base of your spine, up your spine, into your pineal gland, you have a circuit that kind of comes down and it ends at the roof of your mouth. And the other circuit kind of comes up the front of your body and ends at the tip of your tongue. And so ideally, in order to circulate that energy and help that seminal energy kind of raise up, you end up using the microcosmic orbit. I really want to touch on that a little bit more, but that will probably be an entire video in and of itself. So stay tuned for next week when I actually want to talk about the 3-finger process, the external locking, which actually prevents the seminal fluid from being released and in turn helps it to circulate. Thank you so much for paying attention, keeping up with me, and I hope that you are learning quite a bit in this series. Much love to you. Peace.